Hello, my name is Amos, Tarfa, Amos the Math Guy, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to raise the next generation of scientists, mathematicians, and engineers who also know the history and philosophy of science. My background is in chemistry as well as philosophy of science, and then I have a master's degree in medical physics and medical health physics. I completed a year of my PhD in chemistry as well as STEM education. I have a passion for teaching the history and philosophy of science in STEM fields so that people in those fields can appreciate the context of what they're learning. When we talk about entropy, for example, it makes sense to understand what was going on, going on with Germany and Clausius, who came up with some of the work in entropy. So it's important to understand some of the context to then appreciate the concepts and apply ourselves to excellence in understanding and growing in those concepts. I teach an ACT preparation course, and so in this video I'll be talking briefly about that and how to score or get a perfect score on the SAT. So let's begin our discussion. This is a little more of my background. I have written several books, which you can find on my personal website, livingsensibly.org, and then I'm a Christian apologist that focuses on science and discussions on science and the history of science and philosophy of science and faith. So reach out if you have any questions on those as well. But this channel will be dedicated to a lot of resources for mathematics and math excellence in America and beyond. I have a lot of stuff to cover, so please subscribe for more videos on that, as well as videos on different math concepts. I have courses that people can buy. I also have ACT, as I said, and SAT courses, and as well as coaching. So let's talk a little bit about how to get a perfect score on the SAT math portion. I'm going to give you a few strategies, and we'll talk more about these in the future. The first thing is studying early helps. So here's what I mean. If you're in 8th grade, you generally will have more time versus someone who's in 12th grade who might have a job. And so when you're in 8th grade, your goal should be to make sure that you have a plan for acing the ACT and SAT. Now, the cool thing is you don't have to actually wait till you're done with your coursework in high school before you take the ACT. You could start studying and pass the ACT in flying colors with excellence while you're still in 8th grade. That's why my course the courses I write are focused on training 8th graders to be able to take the ACT as well. So how do you get a perfect score on the SAT or ACT math? Number one, start studying early. Number two, make sure that you have a list of all the topics that are on the ACT or SAT. For example, in my ACT course, I have a list of all the concepts on the math portion, and then I have a video that explains each of the concepts on the math portion. So if you are going through that list and you find a topic that you struggle with, then maybe you should take a step back and refine your craft in that topic. Coaching helps, right? So I have diagnostic tests that I can give to students, and it shows me exactly what concepts they've mastered and what concepts they have not mastered. So then I can give them the tools to master the concepts they haven't mastered. And so start studying early. Time management matters. Review all the topics. Get coaching as needed. I am going to share with you a different resource that can also help you to get a perfect score on the SAT or ACT math. This resource is called Counting to Calculus. This is a framework that I've put together that takes students from basic pre-algebra all the way to Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. So the current American math system is quite inefficient, and the way to solve the inefficiency problem is to take all the topics that we teach from kindergarten to 12th grade, arrange them on a list that is very in order from basic to advanced, and then give students the tools they need. If you do that, you will realize that we actually waste 4 to 6 years in American math classrooms. I repeat, we waste 4 to 6 years in American math classrooms, and you can redeem that time back by using a logical progression that goes from basic math to advanced math into calculus by 9th or 10th grade. Well, Amos, is that really possible? Yes, it is, and that's what places like Singapore do in terms of getting their kids to calculus in 10th grade. So we can learn from countries that do well in mathematics like Singapore, and that's part of what we'll be talking about on this podcast. And we can also use some resources available to us here in America. So let me show you one resource, and you can order that from our bookstore. Just email amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. This resource is useful for the SAT and ACT studies, as well as just becoming very good at math. And this resource is called Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus. Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus. So this is a picture of the resource. It starts you off with basic counting, and then you move through arithmetic. You do some pre-algebra, you do algebra, geometry, trig, and calculus. I have this resource available in our bookstore that you can order through our bookstore. But here's the other thing that is cool. You can actually learn these in more detail if you need to using our resource that we have called Counting to Calculus. So we have this online portal with videos for every lesson from basic math to calculus. So basically, if you hang out with Amos the Math Guy, you're going to be very good at math. There's no way around it because we build from your foundation. We check your foundation regularly. We're checking to make sure, do you understand the things that are below the topic that you're working on? If you don't know addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, then you won't be doing fractions, percents, and exponents with us yet, because we need to make sure your foundation is solid. This is part of how we teach. This is what will help you when you go to the ACT and the SAT to have a solid foundation in math, covering every topic with mastery and making sure you understand what's going on. That's part of what we do. We have other books in our bookstore, or that you can order through our bookstore, such as books that focus on fractions, decimals, and percents with extra examples, and so on. So where do we go from here? We have the tools to help you excel in mathematics and science. We want to help, but we also want to encourage you to be thinking about your career and your, what are the goals you have? What are the plans, right? And so we teach career prep within our ACT SAT course. Let me just end with one more thing here, which is my book called Tools for Mastering Mathematics. It provides you with resources and the strategies for mastering mathematics. You can get a copy of this PDF. Just send me an email, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. And in here, you will see that list that I talked about of all the concepts that we teach from basic math all the way to calculus, right before calculus. So we have a lot of resources. We have a lot to discuss. So please subscribe to the channel to stay on top of what we're going through. We're going to talk about math strategies. We're going to talk about math pedagogy. We're going to talk about science and math and how to produce the top scientists and mathematicians. I'm excited, and I hope that you are too, as we change things in America. If you want to support the work that we're doing, feel free to reach out to amosthemathguy@gmail.com as well. So ACT SAT prep, we have the course that we want to use to help every student to get the tools to get a perfect score, right? Nobody can guarantee that anyone gets a perfect score, but we can give you the tools to be able to go to the exam with confidence, right? And so reach out to amosthemathguy@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to get you set up with any of our courses. Take care and have a blessed day.